Hi, students. Here we go on cognition and intelligence. For those of you who will be in class with me, I'll go through these first few notes with you, and everybody else, I expect you to take the notes on your own. And of course, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. But I want to really get into all of the things that we have already talked about in psych, and now they're really going to start meshing together. And you will understand so much more of like the sensation and biology and learning chapters when we understand how we get to this thinking and what we consider to be human intelligence. So we are combining cognition and intelligence. This will take us actually up to the very end of the semester into December, until the end of December. So I want to go over with you today something called heuristics. Now, heuristics is a fancy word for basically a judgment call. Like it's a shortcut way of making a decision. It might not be the best or the most exact answer, but it'll kind of get you to where you need to go. It's oftentimes like a rule of thumb or this mental shortcut. Again, it might not be the best answer, but more than often than not, it works. Well, let me give you an example. On your phone, you have an autocorrect on your phone. Have you ever actually wanted to use a word on your phone and your phone kept autocorrecting to a word you didn't actually want to type? Not like, the other way. Well, autocorrect on your phone is actually a heuristic. It's a shortcut way for your phone to kind of almost make the decision for you to insert the word of whatever you were wanting to say. Now, sometimes that might not actually be the word that you want to use, but your phone recognizes it as this kind of example, if you will. So there's two types of heuristics. One is representative, one is availability. I can almost guarantee you that you're going to need to know both types for the exam. For sure, representative heuristics, they love to ask you questions. In fact, they kind of like to try to trip you up between the difference between the two of them. But for sure, you'll need to know representative heuristics. So let's start there. Representative heuristics is this kind of judgment based on a similar prototype. It's a decision process based on something you've probably already experienced or know something about. Now, you remember when we talked about prototypes? Prototypes are a specific example of a concept, right? And so it might lead us to ignore other information, the relevant information. Sometimes we just kind of use our intuition, and we'll talk about what intuition here is in a second. But I like to do this little kind of, well, we'll do it right now together, but I like to in class kind of go through what this gal's job is. So there is this picture of a woman, and I have heard, like over the years, I have heard about every job that she might have. I have heard many times that she is a kindergarten teacher. Many times I've heard that she's a Starbucks barista, which was an interesting one. I've heard she's a mom. I've gotten like a lot of different answers. So I hope you think in your mind what she is. Now, what she actually is maybe some of you thought about this. She is a truck driver. Now, do we think of a truck driver looking like that? Like, that's not what our prototype of a truck driver. My father was a truck driver for 40 years. I can say this. My father is like an old, overweight white guy who used to smoke. Like, that's what actually you think about like a truck driver, right? Not her. Like, she doesn't look like a truck driver. So that's a good example of representative heuristics. It doesn't quite fit our prototype. I got to show you this. Because on Wednesdays we wear pink. It'll be really quick, I promise. Oh, do I got to get you through an ad?
This weekend, get the 5G America's been waiting for.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Unlimited plans start at just $35. With entertainment the whole family love. Switch now and get up to $13.50 off our best 5G phones. Only on Verizon.
Why don't I know you?
I'm new. I just moved here from Africa.
What?
I used to be homeschooled.
Wait, what?
My mom taught me at home.
No, I know what homeschool is. I'm not retarded. So you've actually never been to a real school before? Shut up. Shut up.
I didn't say anything.
Homeschooled. That's really interesting.
Thanks.
You're like really pretty.
Thank you.
So you agree?
What?
You think you're really pretty?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my god, I love your bracelet. Where did you get it?
Oh, my mom made it for me.
It's adorable.
It's so fetch.
What is fetch?
Oh, it's like slang from England.
So if you're from Africa, why are you white?
Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
Could you give us some privacy for like 1 second?
Sure.
Okay, you get the idea. I had to bring up Karen because she said, if you're from Africa, why are you white? Such an example of representative heuristics. Like everybody on the continent of Africa should be black because everybody on like the continent of North America should be white. Like there's this weird skewed idea. Now, Karen is lacking in other intelligence areas, but this is a really good example. We make these judgment calls based on similar prototypes. Okay, so let's go on to availability. I feel availability heuristics is a little bit more difficult to understand, or maybe kind of conceptualize, because availability heuristics is still kind of working on this initial judgment call, but it's often based on vivid or memorable dramatic events. So while representative heuristics kind of goes with that knee-jerk reaction as well, availability heuristics is basing it on a more vivid or dramatic event. And this is a really good example in this cartoon. There's this couple on the beach, and it says they must have a death wish to swim in that water because on his lap he's got a newspaper that says second shark death in 5 years. Now, what's really interesting, because they're like, oh, I can't believe those people. They must have a death wish. They're swimming in that shark-infested water. They're going to die. But what's interesting to understand is they're sitting on the beach. I don't think he's wearing sunscreen because he is awfully orange, smoking a cigarette, drinking alcohol. She's eating a big old cheeseburger, which probably is not going to help her waistline nor cholesterol levels. We know that heart disease is like the #1 killer, followed quickly by like diabetes and high blood pressure. Like I'm sorry, fella, you're gonna die of lung cancer long before you would ever get eaten by a shark. But like lung cancer and diabetes doesn't make the headline of a newspaper, right? Shark attacks do, because those are really memorable events. There's a lot of people who don't like to fly because they have a fear of flying, yet they have no problem going in a car. Statistically speaking, you will die in a car accident like 100 times over before you die in a plane crash. But we don't think of it like that way because there's a lot of, unfortunately, car accidents every day. There aren't nearly as many plane crashes. And so when there is one, it's a really memorable event that comes to mind quickly. And then you make this judgment call. And so that's what availability heuristics is. So now let's keep kind of going on this line of reasoning. If we're making these decisions and we're making these judgments, it's kind of how we look at what the perspective is. And one of these words is called framing. And it's just really posing an issue. Sometimes I say to my husband, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. How you pose an issue kind of makes people think and their thought process go in a certain way. So let me say this. Let's say I am your boss and I offer you $100 bonus, like on top of your salary, to come in and work on Black Friday. Like, would you be pretty happy to get an extra $100 to come in on a day to work when you probably are kind of expected to work anyway because it's a really busy day in sales or whatever it happens to be? You'd be like, hey, okay, I'm going to get a $100 bonus check. Until you got to work and you found out that one of the other employees was getting a $200 bonus check. Now all of a sudden, you're not real happy. Now all of a sudden, you're like, hey, wait a second. I was slighted. Why didn't I get? Before you were very happy with $200. But now it seems like unequal and not quite fair. And so framing is really how we pose an issue. Should you be happy with the $100? Sure. Should you be happy with anything extra? Sure. If it's not as much as somebody else, should you still be happy? You should. But for some reason in our thinking, we don't think the same way. Sometimes that's just based on intuition. And I mentioned intuition before. When we talk about intuition, it's like that gut feeling. Like you can't even really logically give me a reason why, you just kind of know it. Are you one of those type of people who can size up people pretty pretty fast after you meet them? Like you can talk to them for 10 minutes and you already kind of understand what kind of a person they are. It's just this feeling, this effortless, immediate feeling that you get. It's not, you're not thinking it out, you're not logically kind of if then scenario. It's just this feeling that you have. It's contrasted with the explicit conscious reasoning. It's more unconscious, immediate. You don't even really think about it. Actually, this topic is going to come up again toward the end of the chapters when we talk again about something in social psychology related to intuition. Okay, so now if we are making these judgments, that's kind of like a shortcut. It's like this rule of thumb, right? Well, the opposite is actually something much more methodical. It's called an algorithm. It's more of a step by step, like we're thinking each part or decision out. If this, then this. So an algorithm, the problem with an algorithm, it's always, an algorithm, I can guarantee you we're going to come up with the correct solution or judgment or whatever it happens to be. It will be the right answer. Except the problem with an algorithm is it takes time, it takes a heck of a lot of effort, and it's really the opposite of a heuristic. So let me say, we have no lockers right now. Let's just say you want to put your jacket in one of the lockers, but you don't know the combination. You could like put your jacket in the locker, right? Literally, you could go through every single combination on that lock and you could get to open that door. Wouldn't it be a heck of a lot easier to like sweet talk Mr. Spees into letting you have a locker, or like busting open the door? Like, I don't know, but like an algorithm, you're going to get to the solution. It's just going to take a lot of time and effort, and sometimes it's not even worth our time and effort. I'm not going to show you this video. I like the Big Bang Theory. This is how Sheldon is going to find a friend, and he actually uses an algorithm to do it. And finding a friend probably takes more maybe intuition and judgments than it does actually a step-by-step methodical process. Hey, well, that's it. Faster than we thought. All right, so until we meet again, talk to you later. Bye.